many rock acts throughout the 1970s and 1980s. But these stars were not blamed for their
30
generation drug culture. We have to understand that rap is not just alone in the target for this just because they're praising drugs, because they are in a lower class. We have other ones that are out there are talking about the same thing, but because they're in a higher class, it seems like they're immune to it. Let us notice that this is a mirror, and the mirror it seems to be negative, but it is definitely not a negative image that we are looking. It is an image of ourselves.
Rebuttal argument, 2 minutes.
My opponent said that drugs were glorified in rock and roll songs and glorified by icons like Picasso. And this is my point exactly. Rock and roll is music. These hip-hop artists are icons. If they were doing this in the 20th and 30th centuries, glorifying drugs, and people were using drugs just like they are today, and they used them because icons like Picasso glorified them. When Picasso say, oh, I use drugs and drugs are okay, he's saying that he's validating that it's okay to use drugs. And that is the same message that hip-hop is sending to you today. When you see them talking about all the drugs and the violence, they are validating that and saying that it is okay that if you want to go out here and act like a thug and act crazy, that it's okay to do that. My opponent also said that these people also praise drugs because they live in a lower class. It's a lot of people that's in upper class and got to this upper class by selling and using drugs. I know from example, I have parents that have done this before, that have sold drugs and everything and then became up in upper class. So just because you're in a lower class doesn't mean that you praise drugs or use drugs. And most of these rappers are high class. They are millionaires. They sell shoes, clothes, cars. They sell everything. They are millionaires. They are upper class. So why should they have to use drugs? Thank you.
Rebuttal argument, 2 minutes.
As my opponent just stated, there was past incidents. He said rock. He said other music genres have done so. But he said hip-hop is doing the same. But if hip-hop is doing the same, then why isn't we not discussing the rock and the other music genres? Why haven't this been discussed in past situations? Why is it just now coming to pass? If it's been happening, this should have been stated. But now we want to blame it on hip-hop. Why is hip-hop the brunt of the blame? And misogyny is often criticized as one of hip-hop's music's most negative aspects. It's endemic to many cultures worldwide. Many have blamed hip-hop for violence against women in inner-city black neighborhoods. In fact, the website feminist.org states that that violence occurs at the same rates for white black women in almost every age category. Hip-hop is blamed for making women feel inferior. However, this website also lists surveys showing that black women are more confident about their bodies than white women. Misogyny is also widespread in many other musical genres. The Rolling Stones song, Under My Thumb, speaks approvingly of a woman who, quote, does just what she told, unquote. While Kid Rock sings, quote, and to ladies, if you're tired of a man on your fanny, then F you. Go watch the Tube with your granny, unquote. Perhaps some of the difference can be attributed to race. Is it our culture that perceives white men who seek out sex with a large number of women as suave players, while black men are aggressive sex seekers?
30 seconds.
In this, as in so much else, Americans should take the advice of Ice-T. Don't hate the player, hate the game. The game of misogyny is not exclusive to any one race, culture, or musical form. Therefore, hip-hop cannot be held responsible for this societal ill. If anyone should be held more responsible, it's the parents. Thank you.
Rebuttal argument, 2 minutes.
My opponent stated that rock and roll also talks about women in demeaning ways. Well, according to a survey from blackyouthproject.com, 58% of the black youth listen to hip-hop and rap daily. That's daily. We're not talking about rock and roll. We're talking about hip-hop. How many black kids daily that live here, that live anywhere, listen to rock and roll every day? I know 100% of my friends don't. My opponent also said that they degrade women, but our hip hop degrades women all the time. And with 58% of black youth listening to this every day, listening to song lyrics like this, it's a song called Hoochie Hood Rat. That B is full of drama. Hoochie Hood Rat is a H-O like her mama. That's not only degrading that young woman that he's talking about, that's degrading her mother. How many people in here would take offense if somebody called your mother that? Thank you.
Rebuttal argument, 2 minutes.
Hip-hop. By an expression of society, problems provided by necessary outlets. From its beginning in the 1970s, hip-hop has been used to address expression of a people. Many black and Latinos were left feeling distinguished and without any slice of culture to record their own. Hip-hop was a way for this new subculture to speak out against the government, social norms, and political happening, unpopular with them, and have their voices heard, even if only within their own community. The first hip-hop artists was just as those of today, used their personal expressions to explain their negative of the society they live in, and to express their own personal thoughts and why society is how it is. Now that hip-hop has become mainstream, these narratives are found offensive and vulgar by many who don't understand the intentions of hip-hop genre. By Bob Dylan, a political folk singer, used these same things in his lyrics and is widely accepted as being one of the greatest lyricists in the history of music. While he is once criticized and thought to be negative influence on young in his own new language. Hip-hop music is simply a set of beat
30
lyrics.
seconds.
The requirement do not intend to the specific subject and matter. In fact, much of hip-hop is anything but negative. The Roots is positive. The Roots, Jurassic 5, Twalib, Common, Kanye West, Lupe Fiasco, all send general positive messages. Free misogyny and violence is much today's hip-hop? No. Hip-hop, no genre of music has responsibility for artists who decide to address issues of everyone considering appropriate.
Time. Rebuttal argument, 2 minutes.
East High School, we held a survey. We asked over 600 people at East how many think rappers influence what kids buy or do. 40% of black kids said yes. 60% of whites and Latinos both said yes. So we're trying to find the problem here of how this influenced us. Before our opponent left, he has stated that parents should take the blame. Now, I know my mother has so many pressures when it comes to drugs, sex,